Let's start with a basic question. I'll show you some eggs of a creature. These are not ordinary eggs. Believe me, the more there are, the greater the threat they pose. So, your task is to minimize the threat by choosing the option with the least number of eggs. But wait, did I use the word number? Forget about that. Before we proceed, try not to count them if you know how. I know it's difficult because we have an instinct to count things as human beings, but there will be a point where you can control the urge to count. So try to do that. So, yeah, this should be an easy choice. Even if you did not know how to count, you could have guessed it. I suppose that's also an easy choice. You can select it at first glance without even counting. Now, the main thing, do not count. Can you figure this out without counting? Take your time, but again, do not count. I guess you cannot figure this out with just a glimpse, but yeah, you can use one to one correspondence. We are going to talk about this later, but yeah, you can get at least an idea of that. Again, this is an impossible choice at first glance unless your number sense is highly effective. As humans, we mostly possess a number sense up to 4. We start having difficulty differentiating quantities when they exceed this number. I know I'm using the word number again and again, but it's going to pay off. Believe me. It's like being able to differentiate lengths without a measuring tape, but if the difference is minimal, you would still struggle. The same applies to numbers. You can differentiate between them even when they are large, but only if the difference is significant. However, if the difference is insignificant, you should either know how to count or use another method like one to one correspondence. Okay, you might have a question. What about animals? Various researchers have studied this phenomena, and one of the famous experiments involved a crow. So, we are going to talk about that. The crow had built a nest on a watchtower, much to the landowner's displeasure. The owner decided to chase the crow away. However, as soon as he approached the tower, the clever bird left its nest and flew to a nearby tree, waiting for the owner to leave. The owner tried again, this time bringing a companion, but as soon as they approached, the same thing happened. The crow flew to the tree, outwitting them. This experiment was repeated with 3, then 4 people, but the crow emerged victorious each time. However, on the next day, 5 people approached the watchtower, with one person hiding inside. This time, the crow could not differentiate the number of people and returned to its nest, only to be captured or chased away. It seems the crow started struggling to differentiate quantities beyond 4. Such experiments have been conducted on various animals. I'll link some research papers if you want to read more. So, the conclusion is that our perception is limited. To prove it to you, let me provide you with another example. But this example is limited to specific people of Earth who use a decimal positional number system with these digits. Because you might be a Russian or Spanish, and if you don't know English, then why the hell are you watching this video? Okay, I I accept this. I've got some trust issues. But to prove it to you, I've got a question for you. So just picture some creature in your mind. Sorry, what did I picture? Oh, I'm a creative person. I just pictured one of those eggs I showed you. Okay. Now, suppose that all of these creatures are identical and I have got these number of creatures over here. Can you imagine those creatures? Exact number of creatures. What if I say these number of creatures? Can you people do it now? I can. Don't know about you. Your perception is limited, hence proved. So it's like when you are saying that I have got 100 people over here. So you can't exactly imagine those 100 people in your mind. But if I say, let's say 2 to 3 people and they are your relatives, so you can easily imagine them in your mind, right? So it's like that. Your perception is limited. My friend is a herdsman who often takes his cows for grazing. But are they really his cows? I mean, we humans are so complicated. But let's not be so philosophical and move ahead. The issue he faces is that when he returns home with the cows, he is not sure if all of them are back. What can be done? You got any solutions? Okay, I've got one. If he had only 2 or 3 cows, he could easily notice a missing one due to his number sense. But he has a lot of them. So here is a simple solution for my friend. He just need to grab a long thick stick along with a sharp object. But right now I don't have any sharp object as well as a thick stick. So consider this instead of sticks and a sharp object. Why would I need a sharp object? I need a sharp object so that I can make a mark on my stick, but I'd be using this. So since I'm not a herdsman, I would just count my books instead of the cows, since it would be difficult to arrange a large number of cows. I mean, we have got 3 to 4 cows, but that won't count. Because of our number sense, we would be easily able to guess that. So I've got books and we will count them.
Life lessons come 1 in 12. The other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be
So yeah, I've got books. Though it has started to rain, so what? Just do it. So every time I encounter a book, a book, a book, what I'll do is I'll just use this sharp object to mark a stroke on this stick. So let's do this. I encounter a book, I draw a stroke. I encounter a book, I draw a stroke. I encounter a book.
29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set the rewind.
So if I need to check if I have lost a book or not, what I need to do is, when I'll see a book, I'll just move my finger on one of the stroke. Or I can just cut this.
And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening?
So as you can see, I reached till the end, but if one of the books were lost, I would have one mark left. And that would signify that one of my book is lost. So there is a security issue with this thing. What if I got an identical, what we call this, an identical stick? So I can make the same number of marks or maybe less number of marks and show this thing for some other person. And now he can easily take your one or two books and you won't even know that until and unless it was your favorite book. So there is a security issue with this thing and we need to solve this. And these security issues arise every time. Even when you use computers and all, these are just models. So there is a security issue with all these things and you need to solve that.
I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you.
So yeah, security is not the only issue, but we have got other issues as well. And one of the issue is that we can't convey this information using words. For example, I need to convey my information to you, right? But you are not physically present, so let me take an example. For example, my friend need to go outside, and since he will need someone to take care of his cows, and I will be the one taking care of his cows. So what I can do is replace that stick with some identical stick with fewer marks and take one or two cows of his. So yeah, since he gave me the original stick, his information will be lost. But if he is clever, he can have an identical stick by himself and mark the same number of marks on that. And he can compare it when I will return his stick. So yeah, that way I would be caught. So yeah, I mean, if you are clever enough, that is good, but still, we don't have solved the issue of conveying the information using words. So the issue can be solved by some another model, and let's talk about that model. Suppose that the strokes over that stick are unique. Each stroke is unique and each stroke is identified by a name. And if I name you a name, so you can just go over that stroke directly. Is it possible? Yeah, it is possible. We will see to it. But if every stroke is unique and every stroke is having a name, and I just say a name to you, and you know what stroke is linked to what name, so you can easily identify the stroke and see how much information is represented. So I just need to tell you the stroke name and the information is conveyed. But instead of naming those strokes, I'll be using my body parts. So let us again count some books. So I've got some books and let's count them. So this is the first book I got, and what I will do is, this is my first stroke. And I guess I should not be using the words first, second, third, fourth, fifth, because that is a decimal number system and we have not invented yet. But since you have understood this since childhood and you are accustomed to it, so I will use it to explain you some things. So a right thumb, and I can add n at the end of the word to convey that it is a number. For example, right thumb n. So what does it mean is, I've just got these number of books. Suppose I've got another book. So I will move to this finger and I will say right index n. So if I say to you right index n number of books, so what does it mean is these number of books. So you will just do one-to-one correspondence. Okay. Yeah. Another one. Yeah. So I ended up at right n, or you can say right index n finger. So yeah, the information can be represented using words since I'm using my body parts to name things. Another book. And okay, I guess I should not be closing other fingers and opening all fingers. So here I am, right middle n, or you can use the finger or not, it's up to you. Right middle finger n books. So yeah, if I say right middle n number of books, so yeah, you can easily convey this information to other person. You got another book. I'll just move to this finger and again the information can be conveyed. So for example, there is some guy over there and he is keeping track of people coming to fight with you. And your plan is based on how many people are going to come. So the guy from there can convey information to you using words or without words. He can just do like this and you would understand, okay, 4, right, 4. I'm converting it to decimal number system so that you can understand. Okay, I'll just give you another example, but First count more. I don't know, a little finger or what? I don't know what to say. So, what now? My fingers are complete. I have only 5 fingers. So, I can do is use another joint to convey the information. See, why I am using the joints? Because it is easy to remember. I know where my joints are, like this. This is my joint, a shoulder joint, right? I can't completely move my shoulder, so you should understand. So this is 6th, okay? And again, I'm explaining you why I'm using the 6th to make you understand the decimal number system you have been learning since childhood. Again, you can't hurt me. Yeah, you can hurt me. So, if a guy sitting over there do like this to you, this hand representing the information, so you can understand that you have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. 7 number of people coming to fight you. So you have to make a good plan so that you can take them down, right? So yeah. So when I say this, does your mind visualize anything? Mind doesn't. When I say 7, does your mind visualize anything? Yeah, it visualizes some people coming. If I say 72 people coming towards you, do you visualize? Okay, my mind visualizes a lot of people coming. If I say 82, so the visualization between 72 and 82, can you differentiate it? I mean, you can't exactly visualize 72 people coming to you, and this we have talked about earlier. So 72 is just an information, and like 3, 4, 7, up to 7 you can visualize a kind of this. So since you have been using decimal number system since childhood, and when I say 7, so you can kind of relate to it, because you have seen many number of things which are exactly 7 in number. But when I say wrist n number of people, you can't really relate to this. Why? Because this is new to you. You have not seen wrist n number of people. But if you use it for like 10 to 15 days, you will kind of start to visualize this. But what's the limit? Like with our number system, there is no limit. You can go on and on. But what's the limit with this number system? Is it a number system? It is just a model. Okay, our number system is also just a model. So I can use this shoulder, another shoulder, again elbow, a wrist, and 5 fingers. Then I move to my hips. Then I can move to my knee, and then to other body parts like toes and foot fingers, right? So yeah, and you can see this picture. This is one of the model. But if you want to use some other model, like you don't want to use joints, or you also want to use these joints, these 2 joints in the finger, so you can use it. It's up to you. And if 2 people are using the same model, so you can convey the information to other person in secret. Like if you need to convey some information to other guy, some number, and you don't want other guy to listen to that, so you create your own model which is not used by some other guy, and maybe do like this. So when you do like this to the other guy, and you are conveying the number of people coming to beat you or to fight to you, because maybe you are stronger than them, so beating is not the right word. So when you do like this, so how many people could it be? It could be 6 people, it could be 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, I mean more than 10. So it depends on your model, right? So you can create different models and represent things. But there is a limit to this. How many number of people can you convey using this model? I guess 30, 40, 50 at most. Or it depends on your model, but I guess 50 is the safer option. What then? So you can start again. Like you ended at your right foot, small little finger, then you can start again and keep going. But now since you have started your second round, so you need to convey 2 pieces of information. What if I say like this? So this would imply you need to make these number of rounds. It could be these number of rounds. It depends on you, but I'm conveying So you need to make these number of rounds. And when you are doing the last round, you need to stop at this. So first round, I'll completely go through whole my body. And then again, when I'll start this, I'll stop here. So maybe you can do like this. This implies 6 number of rounds, and you should stop at this when you are at the last round. So you can convey a lot of information, but still, we have got some issues here as well. Let's admit the fact that this is limited, power consuming, and time consuming. We need something better. But before that, let's celebrate this achievement. What? You won't do that, right? Okay, to convince you, let me tell you something. What gifts have you received from your parents or maybe others? A remote controlled car, a book, an iPhone, anything? Okay, so first of all, be grateful for that, be thankful for that. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you a gift you have received. You got numbers, man. Don't you realize it? If you don't want it, just give it to the crow we came across. It holds a lot of value for him because that could have saved his life. People used to do this before they discovered the abstract concept of numbers. I'm just trying to convey the progress we have made so we can continue this journey without taking it for granted. Anyways, it's up to you. The previous line said a lot if you understood. Yeah, it's up to you.
Is this really happening?